Yeah.
I just hope that
I'm going live.
I just hope that most of the audio syncs up.
I'm sure it will. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I should get rid of one of these screens.
How many screens do you have?
2 26-inch screens, I think, and my MacBook Pro screen. I can't close my MacBook Pro screen because here's a stupid thing. You have to get third-party apps and do some workarounds to get my DSLR camera to act as a webcam for you. Because you're on my FaceTime camera, right? So, and so
your FaceTime camera.
Yeah, from my MacBook Pro, the camera that's built in, you're on that camera, right? Nobody else sees that camera on Facebook because I'm broadcasting my DSLR to my computer. I crop my live view of my computer, and I put that on OBS with my Hangouts from you on OBS. Yeah, and then I have my iPhone recording separately, which I should have unplugged because my computer still knows it's plugged in and it's probably processing and whatever. But anyways, my DSLR and my iPhone should be recording with their own processors, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So really, it shouldn't be that bad.
How are you streaming from your camera? Like, is that via cable or?
Yeah, USB, regular USB.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, even when it's not live or whatever, the stream is not perfect, but it allows you to adjust your camera and see if your focus is in and whatnot. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And I also, oh, shoot. Wait a second.
What's up?
My iPhone. Let me see if, so then I have to open up QuickTime Player, right? And do a movie recording. I do a movie recording, but I don't actually hit play just to see if my iPhone is in the right position.
Oh my God, man. You got too many components.
Oh, dude, it looks good. You want me to capture that and put it on OBS? I'm closing it now. I see that I'm in a good position. I'm not recording it. I could. I'm not doing a movie recording, though. So I
am recording and streaming. Like, I'm officially live on Facebook, and I think it's working. I think it's the first time I ever go live on Facebook.
That's it, yeah. Who knows if Facebook's working or anything, but I don't even care if I'm live on Facebook, though. Honestly, nobody talks to me on there anymore.
No, but it's just this was the first test, right?
Yeah.
Giving it a shot.
That's cool.
So,
but that tip I told you about that cropping in OBS, freaking valuable right there.
No, it is, man. Like, I spent so much time, and it was a simple Google. Like, I know I have before, and it just hasn't worked. I've been
going to the filters and like typing it in and guessing and guesstimating. I'm like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah, no, it really does suck. That's why you have to set your scenes and just have them ready.
Yeah.
But definitely helps to get things going like quicker. Let's get the conversation started. What do you want to talk about?
How about how busy I am at work?
So, like, is there something new going on? Like, what do you mean?
Impossible deadlines, and then you have to kind of half-ass stuff, but not really half-ass. But you're working your butt off. But here's what I really want to get
officially. Like sometimes you're doing project management. Sometimes I think you were doing supply chain for a while. Like,
lately, my job is to manage and create contracts for developing software systems to enable like workflows to happen more efficiently. But I manage the entire contract, the people under the contract, the administrative part of the contract. I write the contracts, and I look at the future forward-looking vision of what our division is. And that's why I create these contracts to, hey, we need a new system that's going to do this, this, or that. And how do I build the system? Do I need a data architect? Do I need a solutions architect? Do I need a program manager, project manager? How much is it going to cost, et cetera, et cetera? So I put all that together, all that acquisition package stuff together. But it's all tech related. So I need to do some data analysis or data mining, or I have to OCR like tens of thousands of documents, or I have to convert like chemical spreadsheet data that's like a picture into an actual table that's editable. Really? Things like that. Like, I don't do all the the back end stuff, but luckily I have that background that I know what technologies to use to a point. I know what kind of things are out there as far as what I can get my hands on and get programmers and get software developers to actually implement. You know what I mean? I'm learning that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning that stuff right now, and it's freaking awesome. I love it, man.
Do you get guidance, like, or do you kind of have to figure out on your own? Is it like a one-person department kind of thing?
Everyone is pretty busy, and everyone knows just little bits and pieces of knowledge, and so it takes some time to get good at it, which I think I'm learning really quickly. But I might get guidance from one person that knows a lot about contract law, but doesn't know shit about technology. Then I might get guidance from somebody that knows technology, but doesn't know anything about contracts. And then there'll be somebody that knows about science, but have no idea about technology to implement that science. It's like, so being in the middle ground is where I'm at. I connect all those dots.
Okay, that's pretty solid. I mean, it seems like you get to learn a lot outside of just your field of work, like just your specific area. So it probably doesn't get very boring, right?
Not yet. I mean, it's been busy, and because I'm learning something new, and not like I'm not doing math. I'm just doing like just looking at like strategic visions and like where piles of money are and how money works, and it's completely different than the stuff that I really learned throughout my life. Gotcha. But it lets me incorporate the engineering background I have into my life, though.
Yeah. Without
doing hard math, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and you, I mean, was your goal to be doing this when you were going for engineering? Not really, right? Life kind of took you in a different path.
Yeah, definitely was not looking to do any of this. I wanted to be like knee deep in the code, introvert style, you know?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not an introvert, so that doesn't work very well.
Yeah. That's a... For the, you know, like we went to school with a lot of weird people, you know, in engineering, there's a lot of weird people, man. And you were one of the most sociable people. You were one of the smart ones for sure. But normally people are kind of, you know, reserved, a little bit different when they're like knee deep in math and differential equations and all this crap.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So.
And you know what? The different types of engineers, really, engineers versus scientists versus different types of scientists, like, I could see like the stereotype, like there are differences between them. Like straight up IT engineers or IT technologists or whatever are completely different than a toxicologist or a pharmacologist. And it's like, damn, like and they're all nerdy in their own separate ways, but they're different. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think so. IT department is like that freaking nerd shit, like deep nerd.
I wanted to go for that. I would have loved IT.
It makes money. Not everybody's a nerd. I mean, not everybody, but
I know I could do it, but it would be starting from ground zero, and I'm scared of that. But at the same point, like I read this quote today, something like people are not, living their dreams because they're living their fears. And like I'm literally afraid of maybe sticking up with the same thing that I've been doing for, forever. And I want to change, but I'm too scared to change, to start from zero. Listen, at some point you just have to do it. It's just scary, you know. Like with this thing.
I mean, you wouldn't be starting from zero because you have an accumulation of 20-something years of it as an adult almost, you know. Like, yeah, but you're right. You'd be starting lower than you are now, most likely.
Yeah.
And 80% of all jobs you would ever get that's not the one you have or the type you have, you'd be starting off a little bit lower.
Yeah, but I think it would be pretty scary, honestly. I really do. But I might do it. I really might. Eventually, I guess, at least.
I think that we live in a different times for us where I think people take chances a little bit later in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people are doing that left and right. It's definitely not as common as during the time of our parents. I do think that, I think about that kind of often. But and I asked you about this before, like if you think you would be where you are without going to college. But for me, like definitely I was kind of brainwashed into thinking you have to have a college degree. Like that is the most important thing. If you don't do it, like you're pretty much screwed. And I don't think that is the case anymore. Of course it helps, like a ton. But now there's a lot more options. A lot of my friends are kind of just traveling the world without a worry, you know, at 30 years old. Some of them are changing degrees. You know, it's just different. And before, the expectation was by 30 years old, you're buying a house, you're settling down. It's just a different world, man. Like, for sure it's different. I like it better. I think it's a lot better, man. It's just...
I'm sure they have different worries, though, than everybody else. Like, they might get sick of traveling and say, you know what, damn, I don't have any retirement or this or that. But I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm not the healthiest person. I drink too much. I don't exercise. And I'm like, you know what? I really, truly don't think I'm going to... Like, I want to live. Don't get me wrong. I want to get into that mode. But even if I do, I think that, like, I've gotten till I'm about 75 max. And maybe 80. But to me, I don't think I need to think about 40 years worth of retirement. I need, like, a good, 16, 17 years max of being retired. So... Well, but I mean, that's not retired. But I mean, what I'm saying is, even if I retire earlier, like say at like 50 something years old, 55 would be pretty good. I'm saying I'd only have to have enough money to live a good life for the next 10, 12 years, and then the next 10 years I'll be pretty much done. I won't need to travel because I'm pretty much half dead anyways.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And it's just, I don't know. Again, it's different times, but it is interesting. I think that before, like, you have to have enough money to retire, kind of by the time you're 65. But it's almost like, well, you were expected to maybe make it to 75 or something, man. And people are like living a lot longer now. So to your point, first of all, I want to live now. I don't want to, have all this money saved by the time I get there. But at the same time, now a lot of people do need to have that money because you get to that age and you still have plenty of years to travel. Like, people are healthier, dude. Like my dad is 78, and he just he was just or 77, I think, or somewhere around there. But he just went to Europe with my family, and like he was enjoying himself. Like, it's just different, man. So maybe everyone has to find their own path, but it is difficult to determine what's important, right? Like should I just live like now at the beginning, or always keep saving a little bit? I told you about that earlier today.
But he says, all right, so your dad went to Europe, but how often did he travel overseas?
Not often.
Last year.
My dad doesn't like at all. Like, he just doesn't like to travel. Really, like, he was kind of forced into Europe. But they do he does go to the beach a lot. Like, I mean, he travels within Mexico like a decent amount, just leisure, which I think in the past it was just not the most common thing for people that age. I think I don't even know the point that I'm trying to make, but I think before it's like you get to that age and it's kind of like you're semi-dead, like you're not expected to do much. Like, you're 65, like you better have your cushion so that you can spend it on your retirement home or whatever, and that's that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Well,
and the other thing is, a lot of people around me, don't get me wrong, most people around me are very successful, upper middle class or middle class, right?
Right.
Most of the people around me are, making about $120,000 a year easily with just their sole income, and then their spouse is making about the same. Most of the people around me is probably pulling in about $250,000 a year just income. And so years and years and years of that, plus whatever family help they've had throughout the years, they're all, I'm sorry, but they're way all set. They're fine. Me, I don't mind living in a dump as long as I can get out and do stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be I don't need a mansion. I don't need you know what I mean? And then when I do retire, I don't need to be in the United States. I can go somewhere cheaper. I can live in a different country that's cheaper. it's not a problem for me.
I'm with you. Like I'm with you. Again, maybe it's different for everyone. The thing about it too is that not a lot of people are in that. Not a lot of people make the 120K, and then have another spouse that make 120K, and even that is good. But I do also think that it was easier before. I say with a lot of my friends, like we were growing up, and it was common for our parents to take, like the 3 children. I only grew up with a sibling, just with one sister, but like go on 2 or 3 vacations per year. That's expensive. Have a house. Maybe have a country house that you go on the weekends or whatever. Like it was, and it was not like they had incredible jobs, right? Like maybe he had a director job or a plant manager or something, and that was enough to live very well, man. Like now it's harder, man. Like you can be a single person making 120K in Washington D.C. That's really not a lot of money. Like it's enough to live very comfortable, but it's not enough for you to be buying multiple houses and supporting your family with your wife not working and chill. Like it's different. It's different times.
Oh yeah,
I think about that all the time.
Don't get me wrong, like it's decent money, but you're right. But the things are different, as in like you don't need to buy that country house. You can Airbnb it. You can hostel it. There's so many places to go rent for just. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like things are a little bit different. You don't need to buy like that extra $150,000 lake house. You can just go rent one on Airbnb whenever you feel like it.
For sure.
So that's nice. I'm glad we have that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing for the other, right? Like before we could. There was definitely no way for us to go and just rent a house. Like you get there and let's rent it in 5 minutes, right? For one, maybe it would be dangerous. Like then, how would you find it? It's about getting to the town and maybe asking a couple of questions. Like it's just different now. Like you said, you have the availability of really going anywhere in the world and being able to rent a little room within 5 minutes through Airbnb. That is going to be a lot cheaper. You're right. Like it's a balance of, same with cars. Like now rental of cars, man, all that stuff is just so easy and cheap.
Yeah, but I do going back to your college question. Like that's a really there's like a double-edged sword though, because we could talk both directions, like why you need a college degree and why you don't. Like I guarantee you we could both talk that for an hour on each side of the spectrum though.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be if you're going the corporate route, today's times, you absolutely must have a college degree. Corporate route, you have to. There's no question about it. Like in my mind, today, not people that have been started 25 years ago. I'm talking about people that start today. They can't climb the corporate ladder without a master's degree at least.
I would say that's true for you're right, like 95%, if not more. You're absolutely right.
And it's because there's 500 applications for this one position. The easiest thing to do is throw away those 400 that didn't have a master's, and then sort out that 100 that did, and then you can go from there. That's literally. Don't get me wrong. You're still networking your way to every job you'll ever have. There's no. Even if I wanted a job at McDonald's down the street, I would first make friends with anybody there for like a couple of weeks. I'd drink some beers with them and say, can you get me a job? I would not just go apply for that job. Right. McDonald's, I would not.
No, I'm with you. And it goes back to also the interpersonal skills, right? Like you can also have the degree. Which, dude, I know plenty of people that I graduated with that I know clearly are way smarter than me, and they never got a good job, or they're still I won't even say positions because I don't want to point to someone, but like the point is you have to have a combination of everything, right? Like you have to be able to network, have social skills, interpersonal skills, and that stupid piece of paper, man. Like that piece of paper is.
So going back to one of your questions though was basically, could somebody learn the job, a college type job, like in the corporate world, if they didn't have a college degree? The answer is absolutely yes, in my opinion. If somebody off the street, okay, you got to be smart though. Like it's got to be, you still have to be pretty educated, just not college educated. My job is complicated, but anybody that's halfway decent could sit in that job role and learn those things. They would have never got to this position without the degree, but they could definitely learn it.
But you're saying anyone who is halfway decent, would halfway decent mean
you can't, you really can't be an idiot. Like,
well,
you can't,
yeah.
You have to understand strategic vision and how a lot of complex pieces work together. But college didn't teach me how to piece together, you know, oh, here's the budget, here's what you have to plan for, here's the amount of work you're going to be doing, da da da. I don't write an equation for that.
For sure.
You know, it's just experience.
I'm with you. I'm 100% there with you. Like, I guess, I don't know the answer. It's not a rhetorical question or anything, but do you think that you actually get to be that halfway decent working person by what you experience a little bit through college? Like sometimes I want, because you know, like in a big part, like I know I don't use for work most of what I learned in school, like most of it. Like, I'm not talking just college, like all my freaking life, right? Like I don't use most of what I did in there, but sometimes I wonder how much it shaped me. Dude, I spent way too much time in school. Like, I was not a bright kid, you know, and so I was just there, like, just grinding. And I wonder if that kind of shapes you a little bit into.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely shapes you. Once in a while, I'll be in a weird, complex situation with a lot of variables, like not math variables, but a lot of things to think about to make a decision.
Right.
And I think to myself, I think about my kid, and I'm like, the complexities of what I'm going through right now at work and I have to solve, I understand why you have to go through all that schooling now. Like,
that's
holy crap, like, to understand these very complex situations, that's like, he has to read and learn these different aspects of life. Like, there's no way you can just jump into it. I don't know. Sometimes it just runs through my head, like, holy crap, all that culmination of knowledge that I've ever had.
Right.
But it wasn't just college, you know. It was just education in general.
Yeah, it was just I don't know why I was thinking about that the other day, but yeah, it's an interesting topic.
What would be really cool, though, is if you had like a college/trade together, where you can be like, look, we're going to go to college to build this badass welding company together. Like, that would be cool.
Well, like, definitely, I think that there's more and more colleges offering that, but at least when I was starting and like I had the opportunity to go to school in Mexico City, there was definitely those type of degrees. Like, you remember Aldo? He actually went to school for this degree, Creación y Desarrollo de Empresas, which is creation and development of enterprises, and pretty much, you know, I mean, he played it right, but he has this business where he manages virtual offices. So he just rents spaces for offices and whatever. And don't get me wrong, his dad was a business owner. Like, I think that clearly he had a little bit of guidance, but I'm sure that he learned a lot from the degree. And then it's just really having the balls to execute it. And so the way that he's done it, I don't think that he's dying I mean, not dying, but swimming in piles of money. But I think he does pretty well. He's able to dedicate himself full time to playing with his band and works minimally and gets to right now he's in Argentina playing with his band, you know, like just doing his thing. Like,
damn, yeah.
You know?
No, that's the ultimate goal. Don't get me wrong, I think that my route and so far your route has been a safer, risk-free route.
Yeah.
Even though we played a lot of the game and a lot of the system to get to even our, like, wherever we're at in our financial situations.
Yeah.
It's still not. We could do better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, you and I talk about that probably constantly, right?
Dude, and we're middle class for sure. Like, comfortable middle class.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the guy down the street makes
has been a safer.
What the hell does he do?
Yep. No, I'm 100% there with you. But it is what
But you gotta like it. But you gotta like it. If you don't like it, then it's not worth it at all.
Dude, I have like one or two people from work that says I shouldn't. I don't even care.
You shouldn't be there.
but dude, I can honestly tell you, I enjoy my job, right? Like I enjoy it because at times it is challenging, and I think that I have been able to excel sometimes without really trying so much, which is the same reason why I don't like it that much. Like I'm not challenged, and I'm not there by choice. It's not like ever since I was little I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And so in a way you do seem to enjoy your job more than I do. And I don't know, man, like I don't know what that job would be like for me to truly like get up every morning and be like, oh, I'm so excited to go to work.
What really gets me is that I didn't get lucky about moving up in my career. I worked at it and had skill and networked my way up. But really what really got me to like it more was the empowerment of the position I have now. Like the amount of authority I do have I feel like I'm at the right time in my life to have that authority.
Yeah.
You know, you have to build up. It sucks when people are handed this type of authority, like rich people to their rich kids that are politicians.
Yep.
Right? Like they didn't work their way up. They just kind of bought their way in. I feel like in my life I've earned my way to this position, and I got the position where I have some authority to make real changes, and it's me that's doing it. Like there's no I can ask my boss. I'm my own boss, basically.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody has a boss, but I run my own show, and literally, like, as long as it's the mission of my organization, I run the show, and that's powerful, man.
No, of course it is. Of course it is, and I agree. I mean, I 100% agree. I think that I've experienced it at some level myself. You know, it's bizarre because I'm like, there's this management meeting that they have monthly at my job, and I'm definitely like the least, like the one that has the position. Everyone is in a VP or director level minimum, and I'm not, right? But I'm also like the only non-white person, and so not that matters at all. But it's been interesting to see that. I think that is not expected for someone my age to be there, and because of that, like I push myself very much to give a good impression, like you know, to dress well, like to do all these things, and it has definitely helped me, like to be outside of my comfort zone and be in those types. So there's a good time, like you said, you're in a good time right now to be there, but I think there's also good to be, you know, to be there even if you're not ready. Like it pushes you a little bit.
Hey, every single day at work for at least a little period of my time, I think about the people that I left in Oklahoma. No offense to Oklahoma again. It's not Oklahoma. I'm talking about the jobs that I had in Oklahoma with the DOD and the Air Force. Every single day I think about this. And there's a couple things in life that have done this to me where I think every day about certain aspects. Literally every single day that I go to work, I think to myself, they have no idea how shitty they have it compared to out here. Not Oklahoma, but work-wise.
Yeah, like, no, I get you.
Literally, I thought I had a great job in Oklahoma. I was like, dude, this is amazing. I'm making a shit ton of money versus a lot of people in Oklahoma City. But then I didn't understand that those conditions are not the norm.
Well,
like
you cannot you cannot miss what you never had, right?
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. I didn't know it existed. To wake up in the morning and to not, and I'm not an entrepreneur, it's not my own business. Right. But to wake up in the morning and decide, I'm going to show up at 9:30 today and not 8:30. I just decided that.
Right.
That decision every day is like, and not feel guilty about it. Because there's nothing to be guilty about. I have work to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's 9:30 or 8:30, I've got work to do. And it's just, to me, but having windows is amazing. You know, having an office, like all this shit, I'm just like.
No, it's nice.
Don't get me wrong, the guy that's fishing every day on the beach and working 4 hours a day, he's probably got it made more than I do, but.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a race, and the race is only with yourself, right? Like that's part of a speech I like to listen, but. That's true. There's people that are very young that are way ahead of us. That there's. Yep. It's never too late. It's just an interesting path, man. But yeah. Dude, let me ask you, kind of changing topics a little bit. Unless you had another one you wanted to.
No, go for it. Change the topic.
Do you? This was actually bring up, but did you hear about that? I was curious about your perspective on. This is not even the kind of news that I pay attention. I don't pay attention to news as it is, but do you hear about that lady that I think said kind of the N-word
on TV?
Yeah. Well, she was trying to say Lakers, and she said Nakers or something like that.
Yeah.
So now she's gonna be obviously kind of chastised. Your image froze, so that's a bummer.
So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second to troubleshoot this real quick just to see what happened there.
Is it still frozen?
Yeah, it's 100% frozen.
But my audio is good, huh?
Your audio is perfect, and even the video seems to be 4.7. I don't know.
How do you get the 4.7? I'm at 2.5 the whole time.
I have a pretty good connection. So, dude, this is so weird. Like the Hangouts, it's not frozen. It's just the Streamlabs, the streaming part.
Well, then that's not my video. That's your pro. If the Hangouts on me is not frozen, then it's you.
Yeah, and it's actually just Facebook. But I think it already fixed itself. Never mind. So, anyways, like what I was going back to the topic, like kind of what I wanted to ask you about. Like how do you feel on that? Like just out of curiosity, like you think. I just feel like I was discussing this with a friend, and it's just exhausting to live in a time where, technically speaking, she didn't even say anything wrong. Like we don't know if it really was kind of a Freudian slip, or if she really was gonna say the bad word. But now she will be, she'll be paying the consequences for a long time.
Maybe
you think she should? You think what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I heard bits and pieces on like Twitter or something. I read it, but I think she slipped. I don't think she actually meant to say that at all. And
I'm with you.
Who the hell knows? But by the way, the audience attention span is 2 days, and then the people that aren't going to watch. It was like MSNBC or something. It was like a left or a right or something. The people that are always watching it are going to continue to watch it, and the people that are tweeting about it and whatever are the people that never watched it to begin with, and they saw the soundbite, and they're going to throw it everywhere, but those people didn't watch that show anyways. You know what I mean? I don't think it's anything, honestly. I really do think it's a slip up. It sounded kind of like Nakers.
Yeah.
But it did, it did kind of sound like it, but I don't know. Today's times, she was younger too. Like she wasn't like old, I don't think.
Yeah.
Nobody that I know, that maybe I just hang out with a different crowd, uses the N-word. Nobody. Now, the older generation that I used to hang out with, that would slip out once in a while for sure. Or it depends on your crowd, but people in that professional environment, in a news situation, that's not typically what comes out of their mouth every day,
Right.
Even, yeah.
And that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like in what scenario, like privately, would she just say that, even if she was a closet racist, right? Like I don't think that she would use that one. It just, again, I was just curious because it's exhausting to live again in times where everything is, you gotta watch what you say, man. Like you really, really, really do. I have a weird question for you. I think maybe I've asked you this before, but how do you handle? I don't know. I cannot believe I'm gonna say this one on Facebook, but
nobody's gonna watch this 1.5 hour video by the end of it.
You're right.
We have to re-edit it.
But, how do you handle terrible gas at work?
Man, I haven't really had.
Never?
No. I mean, I used to. Dude, I used to just. It depends on my situation, but if I was like working with people around me, I would. People that I work with a lot, most of them are dudes, so not that it matters, I guess, but oh man, I would just let it go and not worry about it too much.
Really?
But I have an office mate now. I went a year and something without anybody in my office. So now we have 2 people in my office, right? So now I guess I have to be a little bit more cognizant of what's going on. But nah, it hasn't really been a problem.
Okay.
Not that, but coffee goes right through me. So when I have to go, it's like, dude, I gotta go. And when you have back to back to back to back meetings, I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna be late, or I don't give a shit. Like, I am sick. I can't be comfortable sitting in this chair for another hour. I'm pooping, and that's it. Sorry.
No, I'm with you, man. Those uncomfortable things of work, man. But,
bathroom etiquette. All right, so let me ask you this question: have you ever? I don't know. I use the bathroom at work all the time. Like, I'm at work freaking all day, And number two, like going number two, but every once in a while, you have to go number two. Almost all the time, you go number two, and like there's piss all over the toilet, and it pisses me off. I don't do it. I don't care what it is. I use my foot. I use my finger. I use anything. I lift the lid up and I pee if I'm going to pee in the toilet. I usually pee in a urinal.
Right.
So I don't know why people choose the toilet when there's a free urinal, but they do that. I've seen it lots of times. But have you ever been, because I get pissed off at this because I poop a lot at work, right? And I'm sitting there and somebody comes in, and I know there's, because I can see under the thing, I can see there's nobody at the urinal. Somebody comes in, they come in, and I don't hear any toilet seat lifted. They take this loud ass fire hose piss, like, just, I can tell it's just pissing everywhere. And I'm like, oh, and they leave before me, but nobody else comes in, and I can tell who it is. When they came in, I can hear them, I can know who that is. I check to see if they're the person that pisses on the lid or not. I'm like, is that the guy? Because I go check to see if the lid was still down. Like, he just took a piss. I doubt he puts the lid back down. So I'm like, who is this motherfucker? Who is this guy?
But what's the point of checking? Like, I mean, you're not going to confront him, right?
No. But think about all this integrity stuff they keep telling us about, and like, how do you trust somebody and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. A lot of people do that, but I don't know. It's just a trust factor. Like, what kind of a human being are you? I see you slightly differently if you piss all over the lid.
For sure. I do. The thing is, again, it's a gray area, man, because like, especially like when I was well, I mean, and now, but when I was working at Kerry, which was food manufacturing, like that was key, right? Like make sure you wash your hands like every time you go to the bathroom, because like you're handling, food and whatever. And this applies to all companies that I've ever been. Like, at the end of the day, there's no way to know like if that person is washing their hands or not. And
right.
Like, and even then, if you were to see them, you can bring something up, but it's just turns into maybe this human resources nightmare or something. Like what are you gonna?
Right.
Who's gonna go and be like, hey, someone told me that they think that you went to the bathroom and didn't wash your hands. And it's like, well, is that person like watching me? Like, it's just one of those things, man. That it's a gray area, like you said.
It's great, but at least I can judge them. At least I can.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's the type of guy you are.
Fair
I see how you are. And I see characteristics like that all the time. Like the person that the person that makes $120,000 a year goes to McDonald's, orders a water, and gets a soda. Immediately, I say, what else is he stealing? What an asshole. The dude makes more money than everybody that's working there, and blah, 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 right? And he steals a freaking soda. What, you can't afford the $1.
Yeah.
So it just makes me like, oh, wow, I really want to be your friend. You really, But then again, does it really bother me that much? People might say I get worked up, but I don't feel like I'm worked up.
No, I get you. It's interesting that you do that. I think probably we all think about that. I don't pay too much attention to it because like I figured I'm not gonna confront them. It happens. I'm not going to happen. I'm not going to confront them, but those types of things over and over again, as you learn what they're like, when they want a job recommendation or they want this and want that, you're like, oh, he's kind of a little klepto. He's this, he's that. I'm like, why would I want to work with him in my business? Like, they add up. They add up to, hey, you're kind. I like you as a friend, but dude, like, you're going to get me in trouble at work. You're going to be caught stealing the freaking coffee and shit, like. No, it's a fair point. It's the little things that also go into the subconscious. Fair enough. Different topic. Let me ask you. What should not give? I don't even know what this question came. What should not give life in prison or sentenced to death? That doesn't make sense. I don't know why I wrote that. I was probably watching some sort of TV show or something, and that's the problem with this OneNote thing that I have, man. Like I'm always writing in the middle of like watching something, and then I half-ass write it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what about this one? Camping. Do you ever go camping with your son? Do you have the desire at all? Like when was the last time that you were exposed to nature? And do you think there's value in that?
Oh man, I've been exposed when I went to Colombia.
Right.
That was the last time, really.
Fair enough.
But not overnight or anything. I was just hiking. You know, I love it, but I don't do it nearly enough. It's on my list of like, you know what, I won't do it all the time, and exercise and shit. But no, I've never really been a camper at all. And it's one of those things where I want to learn how to do it, but since I've never done it my whole life, I don't know how to do it the right way, and it really pisses me off. Like, and there's no excuse for it to not do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm terrible. Like, I've never been fishing in my entire life, anything like that. So honestly, when my kid gets older, he's going to teach me all this stuff. We're going to go camping together, you know, like, and he's going to show me how to do it all. Most likely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, what about you?
I was just thinking. I used to do it so much growing up, and it's been. I think the last time I did it maybe was in Oklahoma, actually. So I would like to, man. I would even like to do it. Like Kristen doesn't. It's not even an option. She doesn't like it, and you know, like a lot of my friends are from Chicago or from Mexico City. Like they just don't. I think it would be kind of weird. I don't think they like it, but I would love to go with someone, man. Man, if you're ever down, let me know. I think it would be a good time, man.
I've got this perfect spot.
I'm sure that there is something a little bit closer, but yeah, that would be fun, man.
No, I definitely want to do that, and I wouldn't mind doing some outdoorsy stuff even in the winter. It doesn't have to be warm. You dress the part, man. I'd be down. I'd love to grab a little telescope or just like, you know, stuff like that. But I don't know. I'd get bored a little bit if it was just me and you, dude.
Oh, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But I think it would be fun to go like to a place that you can hike, a couple of friends, you know, drinks, good food. Like actually be exposed into the freaking nature for a little bit, man. Like I just don't remember the last time that I did that, and I miss it. There is something about it for sure. There's you know. So, anyways, just
driving through Nebraska or somewhere up there. Nebraska, yeah. It was so dark out, and there was no clouds, and there was just stars everywhere. I shut off the car. I pulled over. I shut off the car. I got out and I just looked up at the sky and I'm like, damn, that's what they must have seen back in the day before electricity and all this stuff. And I've never seen so many stars in my life, man. Like, it was amazing. And it was just like, oh, we need more of that in life.
Dude, that is like so trippy to think about, right? Like, and we've had this discussion before when we've been a little bit tipsy or something, but I asked you, I think last time we talked, like how we're just so used to knowing that those are stars, that they're outside of a planet, like knowing what it is. But imagine like not knowing back then, and you see for the first time like a really, you know, like the aurora borealis or like all the, like a sky like that or whatever. You would start tripping and you would start thinking like about gods and like what is that over there. It must be really weird, right? Like would you live in fear every time like that it rains and that you hear like thunderstorms because you think like there's a fucker that is pretty upset right now or something, you know what I mean? Like
what did I do?
Yeah. I wonder if it was more exciting to live that way than to live in a way we're living kind of like there's nothing new or exciting that has happened that has changed my life since I was born pretty much, right? So
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the amount of science that we have today, we take for granted. It's hard to even imagine or fathom not understanding that, hey, there's an explanation for that, you know? But like, if you literally grew up from day one never thinking that, then you're right. That would be pretty trippy to be like, the gods are out to get me today or no? I don't know, you know? Like, never heard of this science stuff.
Yeah, man.
Pretty crazy. It's hard to believe because you think it'd be kind of intuitive or like oh yeah, it just happens once in a while, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. But there's nobody trying to get me,
Yeah, but why?
Who knows?
Why does everyone instantly just? I mean, it's just so weird that the human nature went to immediately you go to where it has to be a being, someone created it. Why was there no atheist like at the beginning of time? Why the moment that you saw something you could not understand, like immediately you're like, oh, someone must have created it. There has to be an omnipotent being that is clearly smarter than me that created this.
I don't even think people would. I think if you stuck people on an island when they were born and you never told them anything about a creator, and they grow up till they're like 16 years old, and you go meet them and you learn their language and you talk about it, they'd be like, maybe it wouldn't even cross their mind that there was somebody that created anything. Like, that question might not have come up, except for the fact that once the question did come up, people were like, it went viral. People were like, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do fish think about a creator? Do monkeys do anything? Like, I feel like it's just...
Well, no, but they're not. There's no intelligence, right? Like, they almost operate mainly on instinct. But like, humans had language, and it's like cavemen wherever they were, and different countries and different areas. They all had different theologies and gods, and like. But that's my point. Like, they all believed in some sort of god, whether it was Buddha or Jesus or Zeus, Thor, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know what I was just thinking of that, but
hey, what'd you think about? I didn't watch the State of the Union at all.
I didn't either, man.
You saw Nancy Pelosi rip up the paperwork. I think it's kind of funny. It doesn't bother me at all, but.
I see it that way. I see it as kind of fun. I think it's immature. Like, it's like I do not respect that, honestly. Like, I mean, if she's a model or whatever, like, she's just being salty. That's straight up.
Yeah.
Like, are you freaking 3 years old? Like, I mean, it sucks, but like, what's the point?
But I mean, not that you think that that both sides do everything crappy like that.
Oh, for sure. Both of them are a joke.
The double standard so she ripped up paperwork, but he can belittle a 16, 17-year-old girl for getting Time magazine and make fun of autism. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's a comparison. Like, everything doesn't compare to somebody else, but I do think that I do think that she's just straight up done and fed up. She's not playing the game anymore. She's not hiding anything and being. I think we gave him 3 years, and I think that they've had enough. This is it. Like, we're gonna call him up for what he is. And this, I'm talking about Trump, of course.
Right.
And I feel like the Democrats didn't do that enough from the beginning. Like, when something really bad happened, the Democrats would still be very political and very politically correct and this and that. And I respect that too, because they respect. You got to respect the future and say, well, we can't live like this forever. But I really do think that she just had enough at that point, and she was like, you know what, that's that. I am no longer playing this game. You're going to rip up everything that I do. I'm going to rip up everything you do. Like, it's game over for both sides. And it's going to get worse. If Trump gets reelected, it's going to get way worse. I have a feeling. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up again.
No, you're good. You're good. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I straight up, I don't know what to think on that. I really don't. Like, I think he will be reelected again, sadly, honestly. Like, I don't support him by any means, but I think he will. And part is, like, I just think the Democrats have been so stupid, like, at falling under the like, under the pressure.
Yeah.
It's like what you mentioned, like, maybe they're fed up, but isn't that like stooping to his level pretty much? And then he wins the moment that happens.
They try not to stoop to that level for so long, and I think they finally are stooping to that level.
Right.
I think some people want it, some people don't. But